This week's InFocus is brought to you by the new Campbell video editor. Video editing has never been so easy with editing software made for hunters by hunters. Welcome back to Carmi, Illinois and the facilities of Campbell, Illinois Whitetails, where today we have 7 amateur videographer teams competing in the Syngenta Firearm Challenge. Now these teams all consist of experienced hunters, but they're first-time videographers. Now that brings us to today's InFocus segment, where we're going to do a little bit something different. We're going to talk about some tips that'll make your next outdoor videoing experience a lot better one. We're going to cover 3 main topics. The first is image quality, and then equipment usage, and finally some outdoor filming theory. Each topic is equally as important as the next, and they'll take just a little bit of practice to master. But once you do, you'll notice a big increase in the quality of your next outdoor video. Video quality, or image quality, is made up of several things that is going to make the difference in how clear your video is. The first thing to consider when improving your image quality is to constantly monitor or be aware of your focus. If your footage is out of focus, not only will it be unusable, but your subject may not even be visible. Always keep an eye on your animal's focus and learn to use both the focus ring and the push autofocus button on your cameras. Now the push auto button allows you to switch the camera to an autofocus mode for only as long as you hold the button in. Once you let off the button, it returns to the camera to a manual focus mode. This limits the number of times the camera may focus in and out on sticks and limbs between you and your subject. The color of your video is also important. The color is determined by the camera's white balance. The white balance basically tells the camera what is the color of white. From the color of white, it can adjust all the other colors in between. Now most cameras offer several white balance options. The easiest option for outdoor videographers is to use the sunlight setting on the camera. This presets the camera to film in the color of sunlight or daylight. While some changes can be made to correct slightly bad color in editing software, extremely bad color cannot be corrected. Low light conditions are not the videographer's best friend, yet most of the best times for animal movement is in the early morning hours and also in the very last hours of daylight. You can extend your filming time by utilizing the gain function on your camera. This function will bring more light into the camera, allows it to gather more light on your subject. It'll allow you to film later in the evening or earlier in the morning. However, as you turn up the gain, your footage begins to get grainy. As a rule of thumb, broadcast rules state that no footage should contain more than 12 dB of gain. Now, this is also a good rule to follow for those filming for fun and pleasure. Anything over 12 dB of gain will add too much grain and in return lower the quality of your footage to an unusable level. That brings us to equipment mechanics or usage, and that begins with stability. For stability, always use a quality tripod or tree arm whenever possible. Now you won't find a quality tripod at your local superstore. These can only be found at specialty camera stores such as campbellcameras.com. A quality tripod is going to cost a little bit more, but few things are going to be as valuable to you for quality video as stable footage. Many first-time cameramen use a tripod, but they fail to level their camera on it. Now this results in the sloping of all horizontal lines in the shot, which also includes the horizon. Eliminate this issue by utilizing the bubble level found on most tripod heads. Now if you don't have a level, simply look through the viewfinder and adjust the tripod legs or half ball until the horizon looks parallel to the top or bottom of your screen. When using a tripod or tree arm, make sure it's topped with a good fluid camera head. A fluid head is what you need to get the smooth pan and tilt from start to finish. But achieving this also takes a concentrated effort by you as the videographer. Always make your movements in a smooth manner, never fast and jerky. You know, in a high adrenaline situation, that buck of a lifetime's in view, this becomes much easier said than done. Once your base is stable, you need to make an effort to hide your equipment from the animal equal to the effort that you make to hide yourself. An easy way to do this is with a custom camo skin available for your camera. Now these are pre-cut and can be applied in minutes. By now your camera is set up and stable. You know the various functions of the camera and you're well hidden. Now let's talk about the theory about filming an outdoor hunt. Framing an animal isn't difficult. With a little practice, it will become second nature to properly frame your subject, man or beast. One of the most often talked about framing methods is the rule of thirds. This is the idea that the human eye is drawn to subjects framed within thirds of the screen. Many cameras offer grids that are visible within a viewfinder to help with this task. The grids don't show up on the recorded tape. They are only there for the cameraman's convenience. A great way to use these grids is while adjusting for a subject's headroom. Now, headroom is the amount of space between the top of one's head and the top of the screen. If you frame someone's head in the middle of the screen, you'll most likely have too much headroom. If the top of the screen cuts off the top of your subject's head, you most likely have too little headroom. Use the grids on your viewfinder to line up your subject's eyes with the top third. By framing your subject right, you'll quickly increase the quality of your video. When framing the animal while filming the hunt, don't zoom in too tight, especially during the shot. Oftentimes, amateurs want to get a real up-close look at the impact, but the fact is, when the animal moves, following him while zoomed in that tight is nearly impossible. This most often results in quick and jerky movements by the cameraman trying to catch up with the animal that he can't find. It's better and easier to frame the animal in the middle third of the screen for the shot. This gives the cameraman a better opportunity to follow the animal smoothly after the shot. While filming the hunt, utilize your zoom and focus like there was no cuts in the final video. Many amateurs assume that the hunt will be edited down so they can get away with a fast zoom here or a bump there. If you want the best, film it like there were no cuts. Make all your zooms very slow and your movements fluid and smooth. You have no second takes when the buck walks in. He won't start over. Practice getting it right the first time. It takes a lot of concentration, but every time you watch your high-quality footage, you'll be glad you did. The most important thing a hunter and cameraman can do for each other is communicate. If the cameraman got all of these other elements of outdoor video perfect, it won't make much difference if the hunter shot the animal before the cameraman could locate it. Always communicate. Sit close enough to whisper to each other. A hunter and a cameraman sitting 20 yards apart are doomed to fail. You want to be inches apart. You want to communicate and be patient. Let each other know what's going on and when that shot needs to happen. These tips will make your footage better, and practice will make you the best. So put some of these tips to work by grabbing your video camera and start enjoying the sport of filming hunts. If you want your footage to look professional, film like a professional. We believe you'll see an increase in your video quality the first time out. If you'd like to see these tips again, or if you know somebody that would benefit from these tips, we're going to post this InFocus segment on our website at campbellcameras.com. Now we're going to take a short break, and then we'll return with the Syngenta Firearm Challenge in the sport of filming hunts on Versus.